Hey home bakers, fresh yeast can last way longer than the date it states on the packet. How long exactly? Let's find out, shall we? Roll that theme tune. Hello to you and welcome back to the Bake with Jack YouTube channel where I make videos to help you make bread. That's it. Back in October, I made a video about how to keep fresh yeast, and in the disconnect between when I actually shot the video and when I wrote the title, I mistakenly called it How to Keep Fresh Yeast for Ages, when in the video I only mentioned a couple of weeks. That one word made a lot of people unhappy, angry in fact. For those of you who felt that I clearly had resorted to underhanded tactics to get you to click on a video to waste 26 seconds of your life and chose to inform me about that with an abusive or personal attack, I'm sorry about that. It's not really my style. It was an accident. With great power comes great responsibility. I get that. But the question remains, exactly how long can fresh yeast last? Well, here is that exact same box of fresh yeast that I boxed up that I actually purchased on September 27th. Initially, it had 10 days shelf life, or more accurately, fridge life, on the packet before it technically expired. And here we are, more than 6 weeks later. Let's have a look inside. Oh my goodness, there is flour everywhere. All right, here it is. Take the paper off the top. There we go. Inside, it's pretty much exactly the same as what it was earlier. Let's take it out and have a little look. It smells like yeast. It looks like yeast. Thanks to our paper that we used, there is a little bit of condensation inside the box, but it hasn't come in contact with our yeast, and therefore it hasn't turned into a big puddle at the bottom, which is exactly why the paper is there. The yeast looks fine. It smells okay. It's kind of a little bit more plasticine-y, whereas before it was a little bit more crumbly, but that's okay. It just changes the way that it is. Sometimes you get it and it's really crumbly, sometimes you get it and it's not. But it still smells fresh. There's no unpleasant smell going on. It just smells like yeast, which I think is a really lovely smell. There's nothing dodgy going on here. There's no visible mold or anything like that. There's nothing growing on it. Everything looks great. It looks fine. The real question is though, does it still puff up our bread dough? Yes, it does. This is a loaf that I made yesterday. It's all puffy. As you can see, it was a great success. Did it take longer to puff up? I think it may have taken a little bit longer to puff up. Bearing in mind, we are just at the beginning of winter now. It could have been because it was cold, but I did leave it a little bit longer for it to come up nice and big like this. Let's cut it, shall we? I'm going to cut it backwards so you can see, even though I'm left-handed. Let's start this end. It's going to be tricky, but we're going to do it. There you go. I think it speaks for itself, doesn't it? Everything's puffy and nice and soft and wonderful, exactly like you would expect. Smells good. Smells like bread. Tastes like bread. All in all, it's a successful loaf. It did, yes, take a little bit longer to puff up, and I think that's the only thing to know. It could potentially be because we just hit winter and everything is freezing here, so that is a factor too. But if you think your yeast is a little bit old, it might be worth a try, giving it a little bit of feed with sugar to give it a little bit of a booster, a little sugar and water mixture, or add a little bit of sugar to your bread dough, which I never do, but it could be something you could try. Or making a pre-ferment, a small mixture of flour, water and yeast to really build that yeast community before it hits the final bread. That's a little bit of work beforehand, but might speed up the actual process of your loaf. The reason why I often say a couple of weeks, or I flap around the 2 or 3 weeks mark, is because I'm advising you upon something that you eat. And that is a big responsibility too. I don't want to make anybody sick here, but the truth is I've kept fresh yeast way past its use by date and used it with no ill effects. So look for the signs like I do, and if it's moldy, it's probably best to throw it in the bin. But keep it like this and it will last for ages. If by ages you mean around about 6 weeks probably. That's pretty good considering the packet says only 10 days. And in the minimum quantity I can buy it in, that's enough to make 14 loaves of bread, which is a bit of a push in 10 days. 6 weeks is much more manageable. So there it is. Click like if you like this video, and I'll continue to walk this tightrope in the name of amazing homemade bread. If, however, this video or any other of my videos, it sparked outrage inside of you, do berate me and my integrity in the comments, or for a more immediate and less hurtful approach, just click that thumbs down button and I will never do it again. See you next week. Bye-bye.